millions of toddlers and children are currently being medicated for behavioral issues that can easily be solved. Now, how do I know this? Because I've lived both sides. Now, the fact that you're here tells me that you're a smart mom or dad who's been told that there's something wrong with your child. They have a behavior disorder, a mood disorder, ADHD, oppositional defiant disorder, IED, DMDD, PDA, and the list goes on and on. So over the next few minutes, I'm going to share some information with you that will fill in the blanks and give you hope that there is a better way, give you a choice to spend the rest of your life wondering what you're doing wrong, wondering what's wrong with your child, perhaps medicating them, sending them to years worth of therapy, sending them to classrooms with weighted vests on the back, thinking that that's the answer. Or share the truth so that you can be free to live your life in joy, peace, harmony, and happiness. Now, my name's Bonnie Leota. I am a mother of 4 children who in 2011 was told that they were all being diagnosed with behavior disorders. My youngest son, ADHD, and the most severe case of oppositional defiant disorder that the school psychologist had ever seen. A daughter who spent every night crying herself to sleep with anxiety, depression, every day something new, and it was heartbreaking. My 11-year-old didn't have any formal diagnosis, but she was sneaky, defiant, and she tells me today she just didn't like me. And my 12-year-old had been diagnosed with what was then called ADD in grade 1. And I fought the system for 6 years before I decided to medicate him, which I quickly changed my mind when I saw him banging his head on the counter, crying, "Mom, I need my pills. You don't understand. I need my pills," when he still had 4 days of pills left. Now, I know that if you've been dealing with a child who screams for hours every single day since the day he was born, that you're probably going to think that I'm full of crap.
The fact is, I'm 90 days in. The yelling, the screaming, the kicking, the throwing items has almost disappeared. Some people would, looking from the outside, without reading your book, without listening to you, without talking to you and Bonnie, would say the two of you are full of shit. But you're not full of shit. I know you can see the difference in him. People can see the difference. His principal at his school told me yesterday, he's doing great. The counselor told me, hey, you know what? He's doing great. He's made it for 3 months now. I mean, amazing. It's a coincidence that I started the parenting program and he started making it through the freaking days in school. When you know that the day that I first spoke with Bonnie, I was at his school because he was getting sent to a mental hospital where he spent 5 days, where they did nothing of benefit for him.
And I totally get that. I'd probably feel the exact same way if I were you, if I hadn't seen the positive impact of the principles of creating champions for life, not only with my own kids, but hundreds of families all over the globe. Kids who were being sent to mental hospitals at the age of 9, kids who came to us at the age of 14, heavily medicated already since the age of 5, in and out of jail 9 times, going to an alternative school, now living a happy, healthy life with his parents when they chose to engage with this program. And I just got to say this, if you've been watching us for a while, we have a free masterclass. It's less than 90 minutes long, and it shares exactly what we stopped doing and what we started doing to reclaim peace in the home. And at the end, we share with you a guaranteed 90-day plan for a total positive transformation. Okay, so let's get into it. First of all, did you know that parenting wasn't even an industry until 1946 and beyond? That parents didn't even start bringing their children to doctors for behavioral issues until the middle of the 1950s, and that ADHD didn't even enter the psychology textbooks until 1968. Oppositional defiant disorder entered in 1980, and when my son was diagnosed in 2011, maybe 2 out of 100 kids were experiencing oppositional defiant disorder. Today in 2025, over 20 out of 100 kids are dealing with oppositional defiant disorder. Teachers are quitting their jobs. Parents are quitting their jobs, staying home, because who wants to deal with this outrageously defiant child who screams all day long? But what I'm going to share with you at the end of this video is going to help you get started on a brand new, positive, empowering parenting journey. In 2018, I wrote a book called Raising Healthy, Happy, Cooperative Kids, and this was to help parents like you see the path, the birth of the child behavior industry, to give you the magic formula of what causes chaos in the home and also the formula for what creates cooperation. Now, just a minute, I'm going to grab my glasses. Now, on page 9 in chapter 2, I share an imperative message from our kids. Parents all over the globe are struggling unnecessarily with the behavior of their children. And this is going to share with you exactly what your kids are trying to tell you with their screaming outbursts. And trust me, it's not just to test another boundary or to go out of their way to push your buttons. There is a message behind that. But I'm going to fast forward to page 22, where it talks about authoritarian parenting. Now, this is the kind of parenting style that they used before 1946 and all throughout history. And this is strict rules, corporal punishment. Children were to be seen and not heard. And back in the 1920s, John Watson, a child psychologist, shared in his popular child-rearing book, Psychological Care of the Infant and Child, that good parents should not kiss and cuddle their babies. This was the moment that mothers began to doubt their motherly instincts. Entering the competing with the Joneses era, the focus of moms became more on the scientific studies of parenthood rather than duplicating of life skills. Now, I'm going to fast forward to the parenting that we know today. Not very many parents still use authoritarian parenting unless the authoritative parenting doesn't work. Remember Goldilocks and the Three Bears? She enters the house, she eats the cereal. Dad's cereal is, that's too hot, authoritarian. She goes to Mama Bear's, oh, that's too cold. She goes to the Baby Bear's cereal and his was just right. Well, that just right has been missing until now. This is what we know in parenting. Authoritative parents are responsive to their child's emotional needs while having high standards. They set limits and boundaries and are very consistent in enforcing them. And most of the time when we end up with a child who is acting out, angry, aggressive, we think that we need to be more consistent in maintaining boundaries. We are taking classes so that we can learn anger management, so that the kids' outrageous behavior doesn't send us into some sort of tizzy thinking maybe that's the problem. It's not the problem. In fact, authoritative parenting sounds pretty good to loving and caring moms and dads. However, I'm sure you'll agree that something is wrong here. Not only are our children showing signs of mental disorders more than ever before, they're speaking out in the only way they know how. Meltdowns, anxiety, depression, disrespect, bullying, school gun shootings, and lastly but not least, suicide. And seeing how this was written in 2018, at the time, suicide was the #1 way for adolescents and teenagers to pass on. And now it's drug overdose is the #1 way, and taking their own lives is the #2 way that our children are dying. You don't have to get stuck there. All you need is a better plan. Antoinette de Saint-Exupéry, I probably didn't say her name right. She's a famous 1930s children's book author and philosopher, said, "A goal without a plan is just a wish or a dream." In the 16th century, Benjamin Franklin wrote, "By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail." The Bible tells us that people without a vision perish, Proverbs 29:18. Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. Now, we plan our weddings, our vacation. We have plans when we're building a home. In fact, we draw it all out. We meet with the architecture. We make the plans. We start with the foundation, and then we build the house after that, right? Okay, so when your choices of parenting are permissive, uninvolved, authoritarian, which is beating the children with switches out in the backyard, or authoritative, we would think that authoritative is the best option, right? Sounds nice, sounds loving. I care about my child's emotions. I've been taught to lavish them with attention, and then when they do something naughty, to sit them down in a naughty mat or find some other form of negative consequence. But what you really need here is a better plan. In fact, let me ask you a question. What is your parenting plan right now? If you want your child to do their homework, pick up their socks, or put their dishes away, what's the plan for that? Now, if you're anything like I was back in 2011 when I learned this, I didn't really have a plan. I told them what to do, expected them to do it, and when they didn't do it, I offered some sort of negative consequence and ended up with 4 kids all dealing with these mental health disorders. Okay, so what if your child isn't broken? What if they're simply missing life skills and a proactive parent-approved plan? So I want you to imagine this. You show up first day at a new job. You don't know where anything is, including the bathroom. And you get put into a room and said, hey, go to work. Nobody trains you, nobody teaches you, nobody shares expectations, nobody gives you a tour. Every time that you go to do something, you're told, no, don't do that. That's wrong. Stop it right now. No, 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 we don't touch that. Or can you just stop talking? Would you know what to do? Would you be like, I think I'm getting the heck out of here, okay? So imagine being a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 5-year-old. Now, if you have a 15-year-old, I'm using the younger ages because if we have parented in this authoritative kind of way where we are managing our kids' behavior, correcting them always in the moment with some sort of negative consequence, can you see that by the time they get to be 9, 10, 12, 15 years old, that they might be blowing their lid? And yes, that's exactly what's happening right now. So when I say you need a master parent approved plan, or you need a better plan than the one that you have, this is the magic formula for creating cooperation. Now, I need to pre-frame because obviously if we've spent the last 8, 9, 10, 15 years with a child who has developed the neural pathways of I need to scream to get what I want, or nobody ever believed in me, I'm not worthy, I can't make anything happen, so why bother even trying? Maybe I'll go over here and be a criminal instead, because when I hang out with my friends and we get in trouble, they see me, I get attention, I feel like the king of the world. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward to chapter 6. It's called The Goal, and it says, when you have a family plan in place, there'll be no question like, well, what do I do when my child does blank? So I want you to think about a fire escape plan. Do you have a fire escape plan? If there's a fire in the middle of the night, does everybody know what to do? If you don't, when would be a good time to have a fire escape plan? Okay, this is the exact same thing. If you have a plan in place and you know exactly what to do, and your children know exactly what to expect when they make certain choices, then there'll never be any reason for you to blow your lid, lose your cool, and you will not need to go to anger management classes just to be a parent. So here's the magic formula for success. Parents plan plus a child's practice action will always equal harmony. Now, I say a child's practice action because how many times have you been taught to get down and explain to your child why they can't have something that's important to them? All the time, right? In every second parenting video that you see on Instagram, which kind of trips me out because the experts know that a child does not even have the ability to think abstractly until at minimum age 13. So as we think that we're talking things through and we're teaching our children life skills through words with no practical application, it's kind of like telling you how to drive a car and then handing you the keys. Are you with me on this? So what they really need is the practical application. They need to experience things. You can simulate circumstances through role play. Think about it. We tell them to clean their room, but have we actually shown them how to make a bed, messed it all up, had them make the bed until they can do it as good as you can? And if the answer is no, then we have some work to do. Now, I understand that what I'm doing right now is I'm speaking abstractly to you. Yes, we literally give all of our information away. You can go to the Creating Champions for Life app and listen to the Raising Healthy, Happy, Cooperative Kids audiobook for free today that will help you change your paradigm. It'll give you all the information, but understand that you have a lifetime of conditioning. You have a lifetime of developed habits about what it means to be a parent. After working with hundreds of parents over the last 8 years, dozens of one-on-one coaching clients, we have put together a guaranteed master plan that you can totally transform in 90 days. It's not going to come without reframing the mindset. And just like renovating a kitchen or a bathroom, you need to break things down to rebuild them up. So I understand I'm talking to a very specific mom or dad today. I'm talking to you if you are willing to accept responsibility that your child might not be broken. It might be the parenting that we've been taught over the last 85 years or so that is causing the child mental health global pandemic. It's real, it's happening. Your children don't have the life skills or the life experience to say, hey, I need a better way. Hey, I need to learn this life skill called self-control, self-discipline, focus, and responsibility. A child will just believe what you believe about them. And I want you to think about this. If you're a 8-year-old who now has to take medication and wear some sort of weighted vest to school so that you can sit there all day while all the other kids are out there playing without one, how do you feel in this moment? So if this all makes sense to you, you've listened to the audiobook, you've binge watched our videos on YouTube, and you're like, hey, I'm not sure exactly what they're saying, but I see that there is something here. I believe in my child. I'm willing to fight for anything to help my child live a normal, healthy, happy life. If you're willing to put in the work to help your child thrive now and forever rather than just survive, look for links in the description below. Sign up for our free masterclass, which is absolutely life-changing in itself. Look at the 90-day parenting challenge for change that we talk about at the end and decide if you're ready to go all in. Last week, I did a video called Stop Tantrums Now, and you can just watch it by clicking over here. Now, I'm Bonnie Leota, and until we meet again, here's to your parenting success. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next video.